I wonder what my lady would say. I wonder what my lady would say. I wonder what.
Hello, my name is Malerie. You're watching GCTV. I'm here with the mayor of Greenfield, Ginny
Desorgher.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Good to be here, Malerie.
What is a normal day like for you as the mayor?
Well, every day is a little bit different, and we have a lot of meetings, and sometimes I have regular meetings with many of the department heads, and then there are citizens that frequently ask to have a meeting, or it could be, you know, the president or the director of an organization that comes in that wants to let me know what work they're doing or something they're having an issue with. We have meetings with somebody on Housing First who, you know, wants to make sure I'm kept abreast of all the things that are happening housing-wise. So every day is a little different, and then sometimes problems arise in the middle of the day that you need to deal with. But it's interesting.
What is the biggest things you're working on right now?
So, well, we just finished the budget, so that was that was about 2 months of pretty steady work. Both my chief of staff and myself were there many, many nights till 10 o'clock finishing that budget, so that was recent. And that's something that we present to City Council, and it's a tough job because you have to worry about the taxpayers, you have to worry about taking care of all the services that need to be provided in the city. So that is something that we just worked on. Housing is right at the top of our at the top of my list for things that I work on. Very, very concerned about housing here. And then we have fun things. We're having a cleanup day, April 25th. I don't know if you knew about that. Not this Friday, but next Friday afternoon, 12 to 3. We're going out as employees and business owners, or employees of businesses, maybe some people from the schools, people from Blooming, Greenfield, seeing if we can pick up all the litter on Main Street, over in the Hope Street lot, the lot behind People's Pint, get downtown all kind of spruced up.
Can you tell me what jobs you had before you became mayor?
Sure. Most of my life I was a nurse, and I worked most of my life as an emergency room nurse, Metro West Medical Center in Natick for 20, I don't know how many years, 25, 20-something plus years. I'm also a grandmother of 9. That's one of my favorite jobs. Not a job that I was paid for, but something that I thoroughly enjoy. And then when I stopped nursing, I moved out here and started volunteering for things. So I was on planning board and city council, so I guess I would say I had those jobs as well.
Why did you want to become mayor?
It wasn't something that I thought that I wanted to do forever. It just became apparent. It was maybe community-led that folks felt it was time for new leadership, so I stepped up to the plate. It wasn't something I thought all my life I wanted to do. It just kind of came about.
What kind of person do you have to be to do your job as mayor?
You have to be able to listen and to think about each problem, each small problem, and think about how it affects the community as a whole. So to think globally about any issues that might come up. One issue usually touches on another one. So somebody might come forward with an idea for, just say, composting. And you have to think about every issue that it would, what else that might trigger, what other issues there would be. So that's an important part of being the mayor.
Now that you're the mayor, is there anything you wish you knew before running?
Yeah, I guess I would say how much time I have to spend in front of a computer. I'm amazed at the amount of time that I spend sitting in front of a computer. I did not anticipate that.
How do you feel about Greenfield, and have you always lived here?
No, I have not always lived here. I've only been here like 13 or 14 years, but I've always been very active in the community where I came from. I think Greenfield is very, very special. There's a huge community-led feeling, or people that come forward to work as part of this community. They care about each other and what's happening here, and they actually come up with, the people here actually come up with a lot of fabulous ideas of things we should do. It's amazing. So I think it's a real activist community that is interested in nature. They're interested in taking care of their environment and each other, and I couldn't say enough about the people that lived here.
Why did you decide to live in Greenfield?
Well, when I moved out here, I lived for a very short time in Shelburne Falls, which was beautiful. And like many people, I think I moved closer to, wanted to be closer to where all the services are. You know, your medical office, your dentist, your doctors, your everything really is located here in Greenfield. It's the county seat, and most things happen here. It's why a lot of people actually move to here to be closer to services. So I would say I did that as well.
What do you hope will change in Greenfield before your time as mayor is over?
I hope we'll have more housing, and I hope that that we will have more storefronts filled. We're working hard on that. Sprucing up our downtown. Those are things that I hope to accomplish while I'm here.
What do you hope Greenfield will be like many years from now?
An even better picture of what's here right now, an even more vibrant community where people continue to be as involved, that we have, as I said, every storefront filled. I hope that we'll be at a place where our taxes are somewhere where people can afford them. That's an issue that people have. So that's something that I would like to leave behind, that it was a better economy, that we have more things come here so people can afford to stay here. That's an important issue.
Are you doing anything to help people with disabilities in Greenfield?
Yes, I would say most definitely. That's something that's actually near and dear to my heart. You probably knew this, but I was on disability access for, I think, 12 years. And accessibility to our buildings and our programs is something that is very important to me. I look at all of our sidewalks. We're working on one sidewalk right now near the post office, because we have people that come from New Weldon, you know, with walkers and so on and so forth, and it needs fixing. So we're doing a sidewalk study right now to take a look. We looked at them in 2018. I'm very focused on that. Court Square, the way we left Court Square was because of issues that people had with access to the building. They wanted, you know, the parking right out front the way it used to be. So I'm very concerned about access in our housing. We're looking at making, you know, more units that are accessible. We have a problem with that many of the housing, you know, apartment buildings, etc., don't have accessible units, and we have an aging population and a high percentage of people with disabilities. So we're doing many things that we can to make sure that the city, its buildings and programs are as accessible as possible.
How do you work with the city council and other leaders to get things done?
So, I attend different meetings that they have. I meet with the president and vice president of the council monthly to discuss ongoing issues, things that they're bringing forward, things that we're bringing forward, to see if we can get us to the finish line on almost everything that comes forward. It takes us working with them to get things done. On a budget, I put that forward. The city council would need to pass that. And on any ordinances or something that they were working on, they'd be hoping that I would be supportive of that, as I usually am. There's one that's coming forward on the opioid settlement. We have a commission on that. And I just met with one of the counselors on that because she's hoping that I'll endorse that, which I will, to see if we can get that passed so that we can start distributing the opioid settlement funds appropriately.
I heard it's budget season. Are there any big changes happening with the city's budget this year, and why?
So yes, I did touch on that briefly. The budget was just done. There are things this year. We have been cautioned to be very conservative in budgeting. I think watching the news, we know that there are going to be cuts to a lot of federal programs, that we have city employees that are directly affected by that. So budgeting as tightly as we can. As we're faced with oncoming cuts is one thing. And then also our health insurance and our retirement assessment increased astronomically this year. The health insurance itself was up by almost $2 million, which is more than by 2.5 that we can even go up. So that is very, very challenging. So our post-employment benefits and our health insurance are huge costs. So you make adjustments to the budget with those things in mind. I've reached out to our legislators, Joe Comerford, Susanna Whips, Natalie Blay. They have been wonderful. They're reaching out to the Department of Insurance because this insurance, the rising cost of insurance, is something that is just doing such damage to so many communities' budgets. So, leaving no stone unturned as far as that goes.
How do you find out what people in the city want or need?
They let you know in all different manner. They will call in. We have my administrative assistant, Patty Thayer, she's wonderful, and she'll let me know if I have any phone calls about things. People frequently write to the mayor. They'll ask to come in, have meetings with them. I met with some folks from a cemetery. They were the cemetery commission for that cemetery. They were having some concerns. They come in and they talk to the mayor about it. Most people will come forward if they have something, and I make time in my calendar for them.
What's been one of your favorite moments as mayor so far?
Well, I think I loved the walks with the mayor. We have walks with the mayor that I did with both the senior center and also with recreation. I don't feel like I was actually meant to be in front of a computer screen. It's not my favorite thing, typing emails and responding to that. So going out and meeting with the people, it is fabulous. So I couldn't say enough about Hope McCary and Christy Moore. That Hope is our director of the senior center, and Christy Moore is the recreation director. So they have great programs, and that gets me out with folks. That and participating in many of the things that happen to the community are really fun. Like the Bee Fest is coming up. I don't know if I think it's like May 10th. And if you haven't been to that, I don't know if you've been to that, but if not, you should really try to go. It's unbelievable. People get all dressed up like bees. I have like bee antennas, but you'll see these people they play. They have a band that plays. People have yellow and black socks, like kind of dressed like bees. It's beautiful, and it commemorates. I think it's Philip Langstroth was the founder of the modern beehive, if I've got that right. So it starts there. That's a very fun day. But things where you're out with people, I guess.
What has been a hard problem you had to solve as mayor, and how did you fix it?
So there's a lot of hard things. We had a problem with our unhoused population, having a place to go. Excuse me. And so we did some outreach, reached out to leaders in the community. Where were they going to be at night on the cold nights? So we had an internal meeting with some of our department heads, police, fire, and economic development, health director, etc. And then we reached out to our service agencies, and that was a really big problem. I was worried about what we were going to do. I didn't want anybody to freeze on my watch, because we had a problem, with where unhoused folks were going to be. And that was very successful. We got, Paul Leslie from the Salvation Army opened up the Salvation Army. He said we could do that. And Sarah Ahern and Christy Lemoyne, I can't remember her last name. She's with the Medical Reserve Corps. All different agencies kind of came together. We had volunteers, we had the Medical Reserve Corps, ordinary citizens that volunteered to staff this at night. We were open from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., I think 40 nights this past winter. Police and fire and dispatch took shifts as well, but that was a problem, and we did find a solution with that.
Are there any new projects or ideas you're excited about?
I think, as I said, I'm excited about April 25th, our cleanup afternoon. I'm hoping a lot of folks show up with that. Bring your own gloves and a picker-upper if you want. Just a chance to be outside working with people, good people that live here, making things even more beautiful. And then the day after that Saturday, is the first day of the farmers market. And when that ends, I think this is what I heard, after the farmers market closes that day, volunteers are going to be painting the crosswalk, that connects the Court Square to the Common. And I've seen the beautiful design of a bee crosswalk. It's beautiful. And I think Mary Chikrin did that, and it's just lovely. So I'm very excited about that weekend.
How do you make sure you're helping people now and also planning for the future?
Well, I think every step that you take, you're thinking about, what's going to happen further along the line. We have to have a sort of a long view of where we are with our finances, because that actually is something that really affects people, whether or not they can afford to stay here. You have to just start the recycling that is planned. We have automated recycling that we're planning for, and that's been like a 3-year project. We've been educating people about what the size of the toters and how they're gonna come, how they're gonna be delivered, where people are gonna have to leave them. So planning and communicating what is happening. So we do our best with that, and we put a lot of things on the city website, news, things that are happening. That's a good way for you to check out, for anybody to check out, just so you know. Anybody that is, I'm going to look over the camera now. Anybody that's watching this, please check out the city website, because that's where we tell people what the things that are happening.
What role do you think local government should play in addressing larger state and national priorities?
So they say everything really, government, you have to act locally, think globally, act locally. And if ever there was a city that was positioned for that, it's Greenfield with I can't say enough about FERCOG, the Franklin County government. And we work hand in hand with them. And they are very much in touch with all of the national issues. And we work to see what things are coming federally, like the housing bond bill, the infrastructure bond bill. And Linda Dunleavy does a fabulous job making sure that we don't miss anything as far as what's happening on the state and national level, so that, and gearing us up as a community, as all of Franklin County, to be looking at. We just had something today about transportation. Somebody reached out about transportation, and we do a fabulous job looking at the transportation concerns, and that isn't just local, it's statewide, and then funding is national. So.
How do you approach making tough decisions that not everyone in the community agrees with?
Not making them by yourself. Any of the really hard things that I've had to do, I'll take the hit for it and say, yes, that was me. I decided to do that, but I didn't do any of them by myself. I talked to other leaders, my chief of staff, my department heads that actually know about things like that, whether it's your DPW, fire, or police, frequently, IT. You don't make any decisions. I haven't made any big decisions by myself. I think that's why we have gifted people that work for the city. I will check with the clerk's office about things, and I'll see Kathy Scott, she'll keep us out of trouble. Marlo, he'll know exactly what we should do for certain things. They're really good community, really great department heads that have years of experience in the city. I've only been doing this for a year and 3 months. That doesn't make me an expert on everything that's in Greenfield.
What advice would you give to someone in Greenfield who wants to get involved in local government or public service?
Well, I would say please do. We need people to be involved. It's also the best way to meet great people. That's what I did when I moved here. I didn't know anybody here except my son, who was living in Shelburne, and I signed up for everything. I volunteered for all kinds of things. But if you want to meet the best people in a town, volunteer for something. Whether it's a board or volunteering at the hospital gift shop, you will keep seeing the same wonderful people over and over again. I would tell people, please get involved. We have boards and commissions. We actually have them listed on the websites, any vacancies that we have, if you desire to serve on a committee or a commission. And maybe that's not what you want to do, but maybe you'd just like to help with a little something, like we have a blooming Greenfield. Kathleen Kenny helps with that. They planted the whiskey barrels. I don't know if you noticed the whiskey barrels downtown last year, in front of many of the storefronts. And that was a citizen-led group of people who just wanted downtown to look even more beautiful. So, if your wish is not to be on a committee or a commission, okay, volunteer for something. You'll just be happier to be with others. And then certainly, if you desire to do more than that, run for something. We'll have vacancies this year on city council. There'll be vacancies on school committee. There's going to be a couple of races open in the Board of Assessors. Want to make a difference, run for something. That might not be for everyone. Everybody might not want to start there. I didn't start there myself. But sign up for something, because you're going to meet great people.
Are you planning on running for mayor for a second term?
Right now I am, yes. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking of right now. I feel like my work's sort of just begun, and there's quite a learning curve. There's so much to know. It takes you almost a whole year to figure out a lot of things, so that's great.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you. You did a great job. Very good. I was pleased to meet you, and Erin had said it would be beautiful having this interview with you, and it was, so thank you.
No problem. Right. And thanks for watching GCTV. See you next time.